Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is episode 11 of our special series, Wisdom Unveiled. Today, we're really going deep, asking something, well, pretty surprising. What if the deepest pleasure, the most real knowledge, even reality itself isn't out there in the world you touch? What if it's actually deep inside you? And what if everything you perceive, everything truly present, is fundamentally a kind of light, not just, visible light, but something much, much bigger? We're continuing our journey into the world of the Iranian philosopher Shahab al-Din Yahya ibn Hubash Suhrawardi.
Yes, exactly. And for this deep dive, we're drawing on some really fascinating conversations between Dr. Ibrahim Dinani and Dr. Ismail Mansouri Larijani. Their discussions give us a pretty unique window into Suhrawardi's thinking.
Right. And just a quick heads up, as always, this deep dive is a translation and reproduction of those conversations with Iranian philosophers. So some concepts or details might not come across perfectly. We apologize in advance for any discrepancies there.
Absolutely. So our goal today is really to unpack Suhrawardi's big idea, his philosophy of light, or illuminationism. We want to explore how this core idea of light isn't just about, seeing things. It actually explains knowledge, the soul, even eternal reality. It's really a whole system built on this one radiant principle.
Yeah, we're going to try and figure out what light really means for him, way beyond just flicking a switch, and see how it might help us understand things like pleasure, pain, and maybe even ultimate truth. So, yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, so at the heart of Suhrawardi's whole approach is this. Well, it's an almost shocking claim. The universe is light. Not just has light, but is light, fundamentally. He's known as the reviver of this philosophy of light, and it was a very conscious move away from the Greek way of thinking, the Aristotelian tradition, which was all about logic, deduction. Exactly. The Peripatetics, they were like philosophical architects, right?
Yeah.
Building knowledge, step by step, logically categorizing everything. Suhrawardi, though, he was after something else, something more direct, more intuitive, an inner vision, he called it. For him, real knowledge comes from that direct, intuitive illumination, not just thinking about stuff. He used the term nor light, and it's everywhere in his work, but, and this is crucial, it's not just physical light.
Okay, so not the lamp, not the sun. If it's not that light, then what is it? How can the universe be light? That sounds metaphorical.
Well, for Suhrawardi, it's fundamental. Light is about manifestation, things appearing, becoming known in presence, things being right here, right now, for you.
Yeah.
Anything that appears, anything that is present to you is in essence a form of light. Think about that for a second.
Whoa, wait, so if something just being present is light, that means this chair, the sound of my voice, even the thoughts in my head, they aren't just lit up by light. They are light because they're manifesting, because they're present. That changes everything.
It absolutely does. Its very presence to you makes it a form of light in his view. And this idea leads straight to God as pure light. It connects directly to that Quranic verse, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Why? Because there's no absence in God, no hiddenness. He is pure presence, the ultimate reality, the source of all manifestation.
Okay, so God is the ultimate source, pure presence, the brightest light. Where do we humans fit in? Is my consciousness like more light than this desk? Are there levels?
Oh, definitely. There's a whole hierarchy. Presence and manifestation, which are light. Remember, they come in degrees. Ranks of luminosity, you could say. God's at the absolute top, the light of lights. But our rational soul, our thinking self, that's also a very profound form of manifestation. It's our inner light, our awareness.
Our inner light, that feels important. It gives a kind of inherent value just to being aware.
Well, think about it this way. If your own soul wasn't already present to itself, if it didn't have that inner light of self-awareness, how could anything else possibly become present to it? Perception begins right there. With the soul's self-presence, its own light. And within us, the intellect, our aqua, that's the most luminous part. It has the most light, the greatest capacity for presence, for understanding.
This really flips how I think about knowing things. Usually we think of learning as getting information, maybe forming a mental picture. If true knowledge isn't that for Suhrawardi, what is it? And how does that challenge, normal ideas about education?
This is where he really pushes back against the Peripatetics. They saw knowledge as just a form gained by the intellect, like taking a mental photo. Suhrawardi said, hang on, if it's just a form, like a picture on paper, then the paper itself should know what's drawn on it, which is, absurd. For him, knowledge isn't passive, it's active, it's direct presence.
So it's less like having a map of a city.
Yeah.
And more like actually being in the city, walking around, smelling the food, hearing the sounds, that directness.
Precisely. That is the knowledge. It is presence. He called it il-hudori knowledge.
Right.
by direct presence. It's not just a concept sitting there in your mind. It's an active, illuminating, divine ray, actually, entering you. You mentioned a map. Let's say it's a recipe. You can read a recipe for sourdough bread, right? You have the information. But then there's actually making it, the smell of the yeast, the feel of the dough, the sound of the crust.
And the taste. Oh, yeah. One is just information. The other is it's experience. It changes you. You know it differently. You become someone who knows sourdough, not just about it.
Exactly. That genuine knowledge is the direct transformative experience, that divine ray entering the heart. It connects perfectly to that hadith. Knowledge is a light that God casts into the heart of whomever he wishes. For Suhrawardi, this is literal. Knowledge illuminates. The more you know, the more aware you are, the brighter you become internally. And that's why spiritual detachment, letting go of distractions, actually increases your inner brightness. It clears the path for the light.
So this ultimate knowledge, this light, it must be immaterial, right? Beyond the physical. Because if it blinked out for even a second, that's non-existence.
Absolutely right. Knowledge is immaterial. It transcends the physical world. You can't weigh it, measure it. It doesn't get old. Those categories just don't apply. Think about an idea like justice. You can't put justice on a scale or point to it in the room, right? It doesn't take up space, but it's very real to your intellect. That's how knowledge works for Suhrawardi. It's immaterial, graspable by the mind without needing a physical form. And all perception, sensing, thinking, it's all interconnected, all different forms of light, presence, manifestation.
Okay, if everything, even our own presence, is light, this really reframes reality. Which makes me wonder, how does something that feels so physical, like pleasure, fit in? Or pain? We usually link pleasure to, taste, touch.
Yeah, that's a crucial point. For Suhrawardi, real pleasure isn't actually in the external thing, the cookie or the sunshine. It's found in proximity to that world of light, that world of unity. And pain comes from the opposite. Darkness, separation, disunion. Think about your body. When it's whole, healthy, unified, it functions well. But if a limb is cut off or disease makes cells separate and fight each other, that's pain, disconnection.
Ah, okay. So darkness is separation, light is unity. And pleasure and pain kind of track how connected or disconnected we are from that basic light and unity. That makes, that makes intuitive sense.
Exactly. And he talks about our different faculties, senses, imagination, apprehending specific meanings, and finally, the intellect. Each has its own type of pleasure, but there's a definite hierarchy, and it mirrors the hierarchy of light itself.
Sensory pleasure versus intellectual pleasure. And you're saying one is, like, way better.
Incomparably better, according to him. Sensory pleasure, it's limited, it fades, it's tied to the physical body, its needs, which are temporary. But intellectual pleasure, that can be universal, infinite even. Think about a baby, Their first pleasures are super basic: taste, touch. Then they grow, appreciate sights, sounds, then imagination kicks in, then understanding specific things like, that's a dog. And finally, the intellect. Because the intellect transcends the physical, it's pure light, pure clarity, ultimate presence. No division, no limits. It can grasp universal truths.
So even simple pleasures like enjoying good food or sunshine, you're saying they actually need the intellect to make sense of them, to register fully as pleasure. Otherwise, it's just raw data.
Absolutely. The intellect is always working, even if you don't notice it. It makes sense of the raw data. Your eye sees colors, shapes, but it's your intellect that says, oh, that's a beautiful sunset, or that's my friend smiling. Without that intellectual judgment, that coherence, it's just noise, like a baby's blurry world. The intellect provides the meaning, the structure. It's foundational.
Truly foundational, yeah. Which brings me back to the human condition. We often chase pleasure in worldly things, right? Money, status. And people often end up feeling empty. How does Suhrawardi connect this feeling of emptiness to the intellect and maybe to something like love?
Oh, he tackles this directly. He explores the deep link between the intellect, aql, and love, or passion, ishq. He has this famous saying, love is the intoxicated intellect. Sounds weird, right?
Yeah, intoxicated intellect. How does that work?
It means the intellect, when it becomes completely absorbed, totally focused on its object, it becomes love. He uses this powerful example from a poet. Imagine someone completely devoted to their beloved. Then the beloved dies. The physical body might still be there, maybe looking the same for a moment, but the love vanishes.
Because the love wasn't just for the physical form. It was for something deeper, something the intellect grasped.
Precisely. The object of love was the meaning, the mana, the essence. And that's perceived by the intellect. True love, Suhrawardi argues, is for that meaning, which is intelligible, only graspable by the intellect. It's not just the physical shape, but what that shape means to you. Think about a cherished photo, just paper and ink, really. But your love is for the meaning, the memory, is the person's essence captured there. That's the essence the intellect connects with. And this whole way of thinking urges us to look inward, away from chasing these fleeting external things that, yeah, often leave us feeling hollow.
That inward journey, it sounds like it's pointing towards some kind of ultimate truth, a stable reality. He talks about that Quranic verse. And indeed, the home of the hereafter is the true life. What does he mean by that? Is it just about after we die, or is there something we should be doing now?
He introduces this really profound idea, the seat of truth. When God's sick, it signifies a place, or rather a state, of deep stability and reality. It's the total opposite of the constant change and, frankly, illusion of this world. And it connects directly to God, the light of lights. Real power, real permanence, Suhrawardi says, is found in truth and awareness. And here's the key part. It's not just some place you go to later. It's a state you cultivate right now, in this life.
Okay, so that's where genuine rest and power lie, connecting to truth, not chasing external things that fade.
Absolutely. And he also emphasizes that ultimate reality is like, well, it's ineffable, beyond description. Our words are just pointers, descriptions. They can't be the thing itself. But then comes the really transformative insight. Suhrawardi says that dwelling place of truth, that house of reality, it's within your own self. You have to go inward to find it.
Wow, that's
Right.
a powerful call to look inside. But if this truth, this light, is within us and pleasure comes from getting closer to it, why are so many of us, well, seemingly unaware? Why all the chasing, the discontent?
Suhrawardi has a diagnosis for this. He calls it Sukr, the intoxication of nature. He's basically saying there's a kind of deep spiritual blindness, a major distraction that prevents us from seeing the truths and the real pleasures that are available within us all the time.
Like being drunk, where your perception is just clouded
Yeah.
and you miss what's important.
Exactly like that. Being totally absorbed in physical desires, worldly goals, material stuff. It acts like a potent drug. This intoxication fogs our perception. We don't notice the deeper spiritual pleasures. And worse, we don't even feel what he calls the agony of ignorance. It's like doom scrolling on your phone while this incredible sunset is happening right outside. You miss it completely. It's not that engaging with the world is bad, we have to live, but indulgence beyond necessity, getting lost in it, deepens the intoxication. It's like static, drowning out beautiful music. Now, for those who manage to sober up, who actively seek that inner light, he talks about something else. Far, or divine radiance.
Divine radiance. That sounds beautiful. What does that mean?
It's an old Persian term, really. It refers to the soul's inherent luminosity, a kind of light flowing from God. For someone who truly contemplates the light of lights, who nourishes their soul with knowledge and discipline, this far can be bestowed upon them. It's like a spiritual blessing, bringing heightened insight. It leads to shahud, witnessing reality with the intellect's eye, not just the physical one, and zuk, tasting spiritual realities with the intellect's palate. But Suhrawardi is clear. You need a purified intellect for this, one that's receptive. The purified intellect becomes a lamp that can hold this divine flame, leaving true insights, meaningful dreams, real inspirations to flow. It's about clearing out that spiritual static, so you can actually perceive these deeper things.
This is all incredibly deep, and it
Mhm.
feels urgent somehow. But what does it mean for us right now? If the true life is often linked to the hereafter, why the rush today? Why focus on cultivating this inner light now?
The urgency comes from the direct link Suhrawardi sees between our state now and our eternal reality. Our current spiritual ignorance, the state fueled by that intoxication we talked about, it leads directly to suffering in the hereafter. And that suffering is the ignorance itself. It's the agony of being cut off from life, from light, from presence, from awareness. As he puts it, being blind here means facing the agony of that blindness there. It's not like an external punishment. It's the natural consequence of being absent from reality.
So this life isn't just a waiting room, like a rehearsal before the real show. It actually creates what comes next.
Exactly. Not a waiting room at all. This life is the khushar, the cultivation field. What you sow here, knowledge, awareness, your character, you're striving for truth that is precisely what you reap eternally. The connection is direct, unavoidable. This is the crucial time for cultivation. He points back to that Quranic verse. Whoever is blind in this world will be blind in the hereafter and even more astray. And he clarifies, this blindness isn't physical. It's jalo, profound spiritual ignorance.
So this life is our vital chance to grow that spiritual knowledge, purify our intellect, build our character, because that literally shapes our eternal existence. It defines our capacity for that ultimate pleasure. That's quite a motivation.
It really is. The afterlife, as Suhrawardi envisions it, is a world of pure presence. No matter, no division, no separation, just absolute knowledge, absolute light, absolute clarity, and crucially, absolute pleasure found in that unity, that jam. Imagine every part of you fully present, fully aware, fully alive, all at once, no fragmentation. Even that divine drink mentioned in the Quran, Shabantahu, he sees it as a metaphor for this pure knowledge and pleasure. God's majesty becomes beauty, his wrath is tempered by his grace. Everything unified. No more duality, just complete harmony and pure awareness.
A truly powerful and maybe urgent vision for thinking about our own inner state. We've definitely covered a lot today. Suhrawardi's philosophy of light. Light as presence, knowledge as illumination, the intellect as the path to real pleasure and truth, and this vital need to cultivate inner awareness against that worldly intoxication.
Yeah, his message seems pretty direct, doesn't it? True life isn't just about dying. It's about transforming how we see, how we know, how we act. And it's all rooted in that divine light that's always revealing itself around us and, more importantly, within us.
So maybe here's something to think about as you go about your day. If Suhrawardi is right, and even our normal waking life can be like a kind of sleep compared to deeper realities, deeper presence, how much of your own waking life are you truly fully present for? And what kind of internal reality are you cultivating right now through how you seek knowledge and truth? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Suhrawardi's Illuminationism. It's been really fascinating. Until next time, stay curious and keep seeking the light.